everyone! We are live for day 2 of the Milwaukee Watch Party. As you can see, we've fixed a little bit of the FPS issues, not completely. You can still see some of them lurking about. However, I think we've managed to get as much as humanly possible. So, before I upgrade my PC, which will be relatively soon, given these events, I intend to do a pretty good day 2 stream today, and again, you're able to use the ! join call in order to join the call. So if you would like to be a co-caster for a day, you don't want to set up a stream, you don't want to set up a restream, you don't want to worry about all those details, just come on in, enter the chat, ! join call, and I will add you to a Discord, and then we will both narrate whatever's going on screen. So I think it'll be pretty exciting. Our first of today, our second match of Phase 2 Swiss, will take place in about 5 minutes and 2 seconds, 5 minutes and 0 seconds, 4 minutes, 49 seconds. We are very, very close. Wancho is currently interviewing Tord Reklov, who did, I believe, make day 2. He's notable this weekend for having taken the credit for the invention of Mega Kangaskhan Absol box, which I do believe is actually Tord's creation. There's been some discussion about Mega Kangaskhan, and there's been some plays in Japan, and Absol has definitely been on people's minds because Monkey Dory is so well situated to use Terminal Period. Either way, Mega Kangaskhan Absol is my favorite deck right now. It's my favorite for winning this full regional, and hopefully we'll see that happen. If not, we will see a much cooler deck. So, it is the new first regionals of the Mega Evolution format. It is the most exciting time to be having a regional because no one knows what's meta, no one can decide what's meta. Even among people who are very knowledgeable, there are incredible disagreements, which is not always the case. Gardevoir has been the top played deck for weeks and 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 years. And so to see Gardevoir shaken up to have not only 2 variants, both played under 10% of the meta share, but also to see that it's not even consensus on Gardevoir anymore, really indicates this format is blown wide open. Dragapult decks have declined in quantity, however, they have not declined in skill, as we saw with Andrew Hedrick on our last round of Swiss yesterday. He is playing Dragapult Dusknoir, and despite being against a deck playing Psyduck, he managed to secure the win against Ryuki. So it is a exciting time to be a Pokemon TCG player. It is an exciting time to be trying out new archetypes that are a little bit against the grain compared to things that we've seen, such as in Pittsburgh. And I hope we get a new exciting deck for our show today. If they're talking about what deck they're going to play on stream, I have not heard it. The audio is muted for the official stream. We are replacing it with our own. If you would like to be part of that, all you have to do join call, and you will be able to join the stream as a player. Well, as a commentator. If you want to play a game, I'm happy to boot up TCG Live, but that's not what we're doing today. We are currently observing Milwaukee. Now, it looks like our stream is live. I'm going to make sure I'm not missing anybody in chat, and after that I'm probably going to go off camera just for a second to let people know that the stream has started. Several individuals have expressed an interest in playing this game today, the co-caster game, and all those individuals have not been told what time this will be available, so I want to make sure that everyone who wants to get access to the stream is able to do so. Okay, here we are. I'm just getting the live chat open. It looks like we do not have viewership yet. That is a-okay for a second stream. Sometimes there's a first time for everything, and sometimes there's a second time for everything. So either way, I am going to be sharing this link on the Twitter, which many of you are familiar with, and I will also be DMing it to the people who requested it on Discord. If you would like to join this call, you know what you have to do, ! join call. Just type that in the YouTube chat, all you have to do, and it will give you a Discord link. The Discord link will direct you to the correct place to hop on a voice chat with me so that you can be on the stream as well. Let me get this set up. We're gonna enjoy music for a bit. And we've got the live taken care of, so that means the stream is ready to go, and it looks like we're going to get a stinger before we start game 1, which is day 2's second game. So the way that the regionals work now is that you get 9 rounds on day 1. 8 of them are phase 1 of Swiss. The last one is round 1 of phase 2 of Swiss. At the conclusion of 14 Swiss rounds total, so that's the 9th round on Saturday, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's 5 rounds on the Sunday. The game proceeds to a asymmetric cut. At that asymmetric cut, the players who are in the topmost positions are secured for top cut. Those who are at equal records, just a little bit below or at 8, are able to compete for the last positions in order to figure out who is in the top 8 cut. So if there are 14 players with the same record, all 14 of them make asymmetric cut, and they pair off so that until there's 12, 10, and 8, so that's 3 matchups, the players will do one more round each of maybe like a top 16 or like a top 14, you know, however you want to call it, whatever, however many people there are, and those players will then proceed to the top 8. So it is a basically 4-round elimination round if there's an asymmetric cut of more than 8 players with the same record. There are no undefeated players in Milwaukee this year. The top player has 8-1-0 as the record, or I think 8-0-1 as the record. So there are no players who are at a 9-0. That means it's anyone's game, really. Players in day 2 range from about 5-3-1 to about 8-0-1. So just 3 games of difference between the topmost player and the bottom player in day 2. That means it is very, very close. Almost anybody could make top cut. Almost anybody can make it to the finale, provided they win straight rounds. Now, some of the people who are 5-3-1, I don't think can make top cut, but they can at least get close to asymmetric. It's really going to depend on how their resistance shakes out and how the rest of the tournament shakes out. But if you were 5-3-1, your goal is probably to make cash, which is top 32. If you've placed top 32 in the event, you will be able to come home with $1,000 in beautiful prizing, along with several packs. And if you score a little bit below that, you're not going to get $1,000 cash, but you will be able to come home with a couple booster boxes, which, given the price that they're escalating at, is a pretty good deal. When I topped 128 in Pittsburgh, I got 32 packs, so that is 1 booster box. And that means I got a Destined Rivals booster box. It's trending somewhere between $300 and $400. So it's not $1,000 of cash in hand. Instead, it is a really cool booster box which you can use to fuel the rest of your decks, or you can just collect if you're a deck collector. Some individuals who have won booster boxes before have noticed that if they hold them for a while and then resell them later, they are able to make pretty good money back. So if you're trying to fuel a future season, I'm not saying that you should be holding these to like increase your stocks, rather that this is a way to increase your ability as a competitor. I mean, the reason that they award these cash prizes, you know, we don't really know what they're thinking, but one of the things that has been true is that because they award cash prizes, players who are high skilled keep playing because they have more to play for. You know, if they play more, then Pokemon might subsidize some of their trips with travel awards or with cash awards. So you can have a bigger and better season and go to cooler and cooler places so long as you play your absolute best, and that's it. That's really all it takes to go see places you never could have on your own. Like when I was a college student and I was playing, if I had won a travel award, that would have enabled me to go to London or to Brazil or even OCIC in Australia. That's not something I was aiming for at that time, but I will say that the League Cups that I played where I did win packs motivated me to keep playing. So that prizing is very exciting. It makes you feel special. It makes you feel like your skills are rare and legendary. And so it's really great that they've continued to increase the pricing over the years. They have listened to players. They've been very direct about moving the threshold so that everyone who is playing at a very high level has access to winning cool packs of prizes, which, given the state of getting packs these days, is a real perk. So if you have been trying to buy packs at MSRP prices and scalpers have blocked you out of the market, one of the ways you can still get in and play is by playing the competitive Pokemon card game. And I would not say it's impossible to hit those top echelons if you're new. I mean, if you're new, you're going to need a lot of practice. You might want some coaching, but it does not matter how experienced you are. If I've been playing 10 years versus 5, Charizard's Burning Darkness still does the same amount of damage. So it's a really great opportunity for everybody to show their skills, show their love, show their dedication, and come home with a little bit of prizing. Now, while we are talking, I'm going to take a peek at our chat. I don't have the chat just reflexively open. I have yet to figure out how to do that on my very tiny stream. But I appreciate the fact that you are all here. I appreciate the fact that you are hanging out. Even if you're not live. I love you if you're not live. Kiss, kiss. Now, right now, our players are not quite ready. We are instead watching our co-hosts chit-chat about the state of the game. And we're gonna look at Swiss rankings. Oh, okay, we've had 2 rounds of Swiss so far. So we have one 10-01 or 10-10 player, that's Alex Szymanski. Very skilled player, I believe he's won several, well, he's won at least one IC to my knowledge. We have Ryuki Okada, we saw him on stream earlier, and he is also at 30 match points. So he and Alex are very, very close to achieving guaranteed top cut. But obviously at this level, you do not want to give up. You want to keep playing at your maximum skill level, get as many wins and points as you can so you can avoid getting knocked out in an asymmetric cut. So there's still a reason to keep playing if you guarantee yourself cut rather than just ID, and that's, you want to have the coolest record possible. We recently set a interesting match point record, so each win is worth 3 points. That is why Alex Szymanski has 30 points. And what is his name? The guy, Liam Halliburton. Liam Halliburton had 49 match points at an event a couple weeks ago. I believe it was Pittsburgh, and that is insane. That record had been standing for several years. I do not know the exact amount, but 49 match points is the amount to beat if you want to have an all-time performance. You would have to be fairly flawless across 14 rounds of Swiss, and then a top cut of 3 matches in a row. But it can be done. Liam has done it, and perhaps you could too if you were playing as much as humanly possible. So we'll never quite know until you try. Now they are advertising right now for the channels, but we're just hanging in there, waiting for our first match. Once the first match comes on, we're going to talk about what's up. Oh, and also in the rankings, Callie White is 16. I have to shout out to the girlies. Other than that, it seems like a lot of names that folks know. The new ones to me are Jackson Ford, Ian Monroe, and RJ Squires. There are a couple of other names that should be very, very familiar, such as Andrew Hadrick, Hale Obernote, Aiden Koos, Xander Perot, Austin Charles, Luke Smith, I believe that's Celio's network. And for me, I've seen Callie White's name, but for the most part, I'm very excited to see how these players do. And also, there are still spots in the top 8. Those individuals, those 16 individuals, are not guaranteed cut yet. They have got to win at least a few more rounds of Swiss. And after round 11, there are 12, 13, 14, 3 rounds left. So there are 3 rounds to commentate, followed by asymmetric cut, followed by 3 rounds of Swiss. So there are 7 rounds to commentate today. Here we are. I am gonna pop into La Twitter. Dangerous place. Look at this. Look at this graph. This could be you, champion. This is you. If you're here, you're a champion. That's just facts. Okay. All right, we're gonna do the thing where I post on everybody's Twitter. So I'm gonna go invisible for just a minute, and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, it looks like we have a Mega Kangaskhan Absol list versus a Gardevoir Jellicent list. This is a very exciting matchup with 2 very skilled players, Bulin Zhang and Rowan Stavnow, who is a Gardevoir maniac. So him switching to the Jellicent list is a pretty good indicator that it is a strong play right now. On the other hand, Bulin Zhang is on the Mega Kangaskhan Absol list that not a lot of people were super aware of. Some people had been doubting until on Twitter it got popularized that Tord was showing a masterclass on these on a list featuring these Pokemon plus Cornerstone Okapon. So it is definitely a unusual choice. People were not really ready for it, and as a result, when we saw the metagraphics for day 2, I thought it was a very nice surprise to see it was 7% of the meta share. That makes it maybe like the 6th most played deck, I think. Either 5th or 6th, I think 6th. 6th most played deck in day 2, when it had nowhere near that share in day 1. So it converted extremely well. It has a ton of great skills, and frankly, being able to use, being able to tank damage with Kangaskhan, switch out double Monkey Dory terminal period is so incredible. Like that is a play of all time. Like that is a reason to put Mist Energy in everything. Okay, and right now they are shuffling up. Okay, look at these prizes. We have a pretty standard list. Although Secret Box is prized for Rowan, along with a Jellicent and a Clefairy, and a TM Evo. So that first turn Arvin is going to reveal that Secret Box is gone. It's not going to be pleasant. So I would not be in favor of that. A Lily's Determination and Countercrotcher and Evo to all 4 Bulin, and those are definitely key resources, but you can survive without them. I mean, really, this deck cares a lot more about, am I attacking right now, or am I completely out of luck and trying to attack? So I would not say that Bulin is too concerned. Rowan can probably do just fine without the Secret Box, but you never know. Okay, we're looking at a Cornerstone and a Frillish start. That is a fantastic start for Rowan, who is going first. Unfortunately, that means Oceanic Gloom is not going to come out immediately. However, the next turn, it's right there, and it is very unlikely that Bulin is going to knock out this Frillish this turn, so that gives, you don't really need to get Latias out. That means there's one less liability you have to put on the board, or, you know, one less switch or one less Toro. It's just there. It's ready to go. And given some of the retreat costs in Gardevoir lists, things like Kirlia or, well, anything having a retreat cost period means you can't use Oceanic Gloom off the same attach. So this should give pretty ample resources in order to be able to guarantee that item lock quickly. And we saw that in an earlier game. I believe that was Ian, Rob, and his opponent Hunter. It was a Golden Go matchup, so not necessarily this Kangaskhan Walls list, but the ability to just item lock again and again and again while you set up your board and take your time is extremely impressive. After Budu sort of fell out of favor, people forgot how to play against it, and now that Frillish is back, people are like, oh yeah, I have to do something now. Oops. Meanwhile, their decks are not optimized for item lock anymore, so okay, Rowan is shuffling up. Looks like gonna close the turn just with a Ralts unless there's anything else going on. I see an Artisan in play, and that's pretty good for sustain. It means Rowan can take his time, get as many basics out as he'd like across a couple of turns, which Oceanic Gloom from Frillish is going to buy. It looks like Bulin is checking the list off of Artisan, so it looks like it was an attach and pass. Pretty standard for a turn 1. Bulin is going through the entire list. Found the ace spec. It's right on the top. I can't see what it is, but it's Precious Trolley most likely. That's just the classic ace spec of choice for this list. There's no guarantee that every Kangaskhan list is going to be playing Precious Trolley, but I would. I mean, considering you're able to search out 2 Monkey Dory, a Kangaskhan, an Absol, and maybe like Latias, just for 1 free item card, very juicy. And especially considering that you have risk of being item locked very quickly, it's great that they were able to find it turn 1. Well, there's an Arvin. I was going to say, it was great they found it turn 1, then I was like, well, it's not guaranteed they found it turn 1. Then it's guaranteed they find it turn 1 because they just had the supporter in hand. The tool they're going to go for is probably Turbo Energize. I see one on the top of the hand. That may be the one. I'm not sure if that was somehow set down weirdly. Anyway, the way this deck works is on your first turn, Arvin, Precious Trolley, and hopefully have an energy in hand in order to use the TM Turbo Energize to charge up either Absol or Kangaskhan. Absol's attack Claw of Darkness deals 200 damage along with shearing away a card of choice from your opponent's hand. So there you go. We're going to go for a Petrarunt instead of a Petrarunt, Latias, 2 Absols, and Kangaskhan. No Monkey Dory. That's interesting. I guess we're going to go for a penny heavy strategy where as you keep going, as you keep dealing damage, you just lift up whatever basic is the most injured, and so that way your opponent has to work twice as hard to take these triple prize knockouts, and is extremely likely to do so. Things like Dragapult EX can only do 200 and then maybe like a 60 to the bench. They don't have one-shot options unless they're able to use things like Dusknoir, which, if the little Psyduck is in play, is not really an option. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my face visible. I believe it is time to get on camera. Hello. And Rowan is shuffling up. Okay, just checking the hand. It looks like there's a few more moves for Bulin. There's no pass. I have not seen an attachment. I did see an errand running. King Gascon's ability, Run Errand, allows you, if it's in the active spot, to draw 2 cards off the top of your deck. And you can do that just for free. It costs you nothing except having the King Gascon in the active, which Latias or Petulant will let you immediately retreat. So it looks like that's Absol is going to be using the Turbo Energize. I have kind of a tiny view of the stream here. And okay, Turbo Energize has been played. It looks like Rowan is getting ready for the turn. Oh no, there's a cut to the deck. And there we go. Basic comes out, it's a Munkidori with a Darkness Energy immediately. There's no damage to move off, but that's not the point. The point is that Munkidori is going to make sure that any kind of damage that is just stacked along the board is gone, so Bulin is not going to use a Munkidori to put things around, but you never know. There could be like a penny play, you know, lift up the cornerstone, drop down a Munkidori, done, and they're going to have Munkidori Wars, which you don't always get to see. Typically, Gardevoir is the best deck to be playing Munkidori because it's able to self-damage, and every other deck right now has had a one-hit KO problem where Goldango or Raging Bolt or maybe a Charizard at the late game just take one-hit KOs. There's no reason to, you know, have these beefy 2-hit KO Pokemon because there just aren't any. The attacks are too strong. But given this new Mega Evolution format with Pokemon with higher and higher damage ceilings, and this is before Bravery Charm, players now have a little different way to play Munkidori. They could just accumulate damage and then retreat, and across a couple turns keep Munkidori, get it all off. Okay. Another Ralts comes down. That's pretty good for the consistency for Rowan, and that's a pass. Or, well, it's an Oceanic Gloom, actually. Let's be accurate here. Oceanic Gloom deals 20 damage, and items are now off, so that Night Stretcher in Bulin's hand cannot be used. Instead, there is a Lily's Determination because 6 prizes remain. Bulin will shuffle the hand in, and will draw 8 cards. This is a new trainer card supporter off of the Mega Evolution set. What it does is allows you to shuffle in your hand, draw 8 if you have 6 prizes left, or shuffle in your hand, draw 6 in any other game state. So it's kind of like a more powerful early game N, except you don't shuffle your opponent's hand. Or those who've played recently will be more familiar with Iono. But anyway, the point is, shuffles your hand, draws 8, is extremely strong as an effect. There are very few cards across the history of the game that have drawn 8 cards at a time. No less with shuffles. So this is a extremely strong early setup card, and it's not bad in the late game either. You know, if you have a dead hand, you could get 6 cards. I would not, in any circumstance, be upset to have Lily's Determination in my hand. The only time you wouldn't want Lily's Determination in your hand is if somehow supporters are locked, or you're looking for a boss or something else instead. Bulin has used the errand running, the retreat off of probably the Latias, and then you could just use Petulant to come back up again. Latias will only let you retreat once per turn. That is how retreat works. If you manually retreat, you can only do that once per turn. You cannot just keep switching back and forth forever. There's the Petulant. That means it's going to be a poison marker on the Mega Absol, and that's why it has 4 damage counters on it. So it took 1 from something, or it took 1 from the first Petulant poison. It took another 20 from Rowan, and then it took another 1 from poison afterwards. So here we are, gearing up to use what looks like a second TM Turbo Energize, and a Brave Charm has gone down on the other Absol. That's interesting. Okay, that must have been a pass, because it looks like Rowan is taking his turn. He has used Artisan to grab another Munkidori, fully setting up the game, taking the time. Another poison damage counter goes down on Mega Absol, getting it even closer to knockout. It has 280 HP, so it's going to take, 28 turns of back and forth poison to do that. However, we have Oceanic Gloom going on at the same time. It's going to be attacks. Okay, it looks like the TM was just discarded. I was going to say that was kind of malingering there, but there it is. It's gone. One of the things about those TMs is it's really easy to if you're playing on live, they automatically discard. But if you're playing in real life, you have to remember to get the action turn order right. If you leave a TM on there, then all of a sudden you have broken the game state somehow, and it's a pretty easy fix. You just discard it. But you know, you call a judge, you get a warning. You know, you do it again, you might get a double prize penalty, which will change the nature of the game. So you want to make sure you're keeping very good track of the card game as you are playing it. Okay, Rowan is using a Lily's Determination as well. Both players are at 6 prizes, so that means both of them can use Lily's Determination for its full effect for 8 cards. Another Dark Energy down on Monkey Dory. We're probably going to see the Frillish Loop for a while until a Gardevoir comes into play, which it has not yet. The issue with Mega Absol is that it deals 200 with Claw of Darkness, but that's enough to knock out a Gardevoir with weakness. So if you are playing Gardevoir, you would be very, very careful about when you put down that stage 2, because that's 2 prizes that you could snatch. It's a prize map that's very unfavorable when you want to use stage, you know, basic Pokemon with 1 prize. Here's Mega Kangaskhan on the active for a second round of errand running. She's very effective at finishing up those errands. I believe there's laundry, I believe there's dishes. Not anymore after Mega Kangaskhan. I wish she could do that in my house. But other than that, there is another Petulant play to put Absol back in the active and drop another poison counter. Instead, a Penny is going to lift it up, and that means the other Absol with all the energy on it is going to come promoted, and Claw of Darkness is not only going to knock out Frillish, it is going to shear away a card from Rowan's hand, which is a really good offensive and card hand advantage pressure. Hasn't gone for it yet. First is going to put down a Monkey Dory. Good move. You want to make sure you have access to all of your bench spaces, but you can't exactly throw down a Area 0 because the only Terra you have is that Cornerstone, and it's pretty at risk of getting knocked out. Although I wouldn't say no to seeing a version of this list with Area 0 and things like maybe Glass Trumpet to attach extra energy to Kangaskhan on a turn. I just don't think this archetype has been developed enough to have decided on a Terra engine or not. It's only been 2 weeks since this officially came out, and in the European regions, the supply side delays have made it so that the upcoming Lille regional has a different format than was expected, because Mega Evolution will not be legal for that event, to my knowledge. Now, I'm not a European player, so if I'm incorrect, someone correct me, but here we go. Knock out a Earthen Vessel discarded. That is extremely useful. It's not the same as discarding like a Lily's or a Turo, but Earthen Vessel is one of the best ways to thin out and get deck advantage. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, deck advantage is, it's kind of this concept where if you're trying to draw cards, if you're trying to do something, you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up with the best possible probability. So let's say you need to search your deck for another Gardevoir, and you have 40 cards in deck. It's going to be a lot more difficult than if you had 20 cards in deck, and one of them was Gardevoir. So Earthen Vessel is a way to pull 2 cards out of the deck, also thin something out of your hand, and also it's a great way to get Psychic Energy, which you're going to need to discard using like an Ultra Ball, or using some other kind of, maybe like Professor's Research, in order to dig through your deck as fast as possible, get your deck thinned out, get your cards in hand, get the resources you need for a turn. Alright, Rowan is thinking carefully. Another Earthen Vessel comes down. It looks like there was one in the hand still, despite the Claw of Darkness. Earthen Vessel discards a Professor's Research and is going to grab, most likely, 2 Psychic Energy, because 2 Darkness Energy are already touched to Monkey Dory. They're not going to do you any better. And 2 Psychic goes to hand. Vessel gets discarded. Now we're going to see what Rowan has in store. Okay, a Ultra Ball, discarding a Psychic and a Pheasantipity EX, it looks like. Pheasantipity is extremely powerful. You've seen it in lots of lists. But if you're unfamiliar with its effect, flip the script. When a Pokemon has been knocked out on your opponent's last turn, you are able to use its ability and draw 3 cards to your own hand. Very nice. Is that Arven? It looks like Arven. Yep, Arven's going to grab an Ultra Ball and a tool, which in this case will be a TM Devolution. TM Devolution takes all of your opponent's Pokemon and devolves them to their next lowest stage. So a stage 2 will become a stage 1 Pokemon. A stage 1 will become a basic. A basic will just stay a basic. It's not going to go anywhere. So there's not a lot of effect you can get off of that. But the reason that Rowan would search for it would be to thin the deck and also to have a resource in hand to discard off of an Ultra Ball. So it is still a good... It's better than just not using the Arven to grab a tool. And if you grab something like a Bravery Charm, as useful as Bravery Charms are, that's not something you want to just throw down willy-nilly. You only have a few of them. Maybe you want to save it for a Screamtail play, or maybe you want to save it for a Monkey Dory that you need to leave active in a weird situation for like a Monkey Dory war. So getting a tool that you're not going to use in this matchup is not a bad play at all. Alright, Rowan is shuffling up. I see 2 Gardevoir in hand. I'm not sure what was used to search them out because I don't see 3 Ultra Balls. I only saw the 1. Or there's no like Serrano or anything, so perhaps that was the supporter that was played instead of a Arven. It could have been Serrano, which would have made way more sense. Okay, and it looks like Call Sign was used. The new Kirlia that came out has the attack Call Sign, which searches for 3 Pokemon. So it searched for 2 Gardevoir and a Mew EX, which is why they were drawn to hand, and that was in fact an Arven then. Across the way, Bulin Zhang is now taking their turn, and Mist Energy is being shown on stream for some reason, although there's no effects that you're really blocking with that right now, except maybe Monkey Dory's Mind Bend. Mind Bend deals 60 damage along with Confusion, so if you have a Psychic Energy on your Monkey Dory and then one other kind of energy, you're able to deal 60 damage and confuse your active Pokemon, which is extremely powerful in decks that have trouble switching. So if Latios was not there, if the Pecharunt was not there, that would make it extremely difficult to retreat or to attack, because you have to coin flip before you attack, or else you damage yourself. Okay. It looks like there's something going on here. I'm seeing some kind of shuffle. Maybe it couldn't have been an Artisan play. Oh, it must have been the Arven. It's the Arven that discard for a Earthen Vessel and a Bravery Charm. Both good choices. The Earthen Vessel will allow you to get an energy, which you could use to just manually attach, which you could use to discard for an Ultra Ball, which you could use to do things with Monkey Dory, which you could use to get another Turbo Energize going. I mean, there's really no limits. Penny being able to lift up those energy as well makes it so Earthen Vessel is less necessary throughout the sustain. Oh, there it is. Immediate Claw of Darkness, checking the hand, choosing to discard. Haven't made a choice yet, but definitely knocking out that Kirlia, taking a prize card. It looks like Iono is going to the discard. Bye-bye, Iono. Bye-bye. And a Kirlia has been left in the active. That's good news for Rowan. That means there's an out for the Gardevoir that's in the hand. So Rowan is most likely going to evolve this turn because there needs to be a combo setup ASAP. Something needs to happen to knock out this Absol. And I'm going to adjust my chair very quickly. Okay. And let's see where we go from here. Okay, Gardevoir comes down. A Ralts has also come down to, in case that Gardevoir is knocked out, along with a Mew EX. Mew EX will be able to copy the Terminal Period or the Claw of Darkness attack. So what Rowan could easily do here is attach 3 Psychic Energy to Mew. So 2 to Gardevoir to retreat, then promote Mew, 3 to Mew, use the damage on that Mew of the 2 Monkey Dories, and then copy Terminal Period to take a knockout on this Absol. However, this Absol has Mist Energy attached, so it might not quite work out without an Enhanced Hammer or a Ruffian or something that discards special energy. But Claw of Darkness is still a potent attack, and it would be a 2-hit KO if attempted. Problem is that Mew EX would get knocked out immediately, and Bulin already has a 2 prize advantage as well as, frankly, a more favorable board state. Bulin has access to lots of things that could take knockouts, and if Rowan starts doing anything at all, Pecharunt becomes a viable attacker. Its Irritated Outburst attack deals 60 damage times the number of prize cards your opponent has taken. So combined with weakness in the late game, if Rowan takes 2 prizes off of something, now Irritated Outburst does 120. With the weakness, it does 240, which means it's enough to knock out a Mew, which means it's enough to knock out Lily's Clefairy. Although actually, I don't think that's weak to Darkness. I have to check that. It really doesn't come up because Clefairy is a 190 HP Pokemon, which is just so frail. Because almost any attack just gets it anyway. I believe it is weak to Steel type because it is a Fairy type. Now that we don't have that as official Pokemon card type, it's a little interesting that anytime someone pulls out a Clefairy, you're just like, yeah, it's not really a Fairy type anymore. But instead of being a normal type like it was originally, it's now a Psychic type in the card game. We just kind of do things a little differently. Alright, I'm going to take a look at Lily's Clefairy. Normally I have a pretty encyclopedic card knowledge, although I've been doing a lot of other things this weekend, including learning how to run a stream at more than 3 frames per second. So, good news, the stream is now faster than 3 frames per second. You can actually see the gameplay this time. Yeah, there it is. Lily's Clefairy is weak to Steel. That's what I thought. Okay. Mew is going to get all the energy on it. We have a third Monkey Dory that's come down. Let's see where we take this turn. Rona's gonna move 30 damage off of the Gardevoir, along with 60 damage off of the Mew. Drop all of them directly onto the Absol. That puts it at, excuse me, with a Bravery Charm, 230 HP. That means a Claw of Darkness will deal 200. That means a single Monkey Dory afterwards is enough to close the turn out and give it a knockout. However, Boolin will have the access to a Penny this turn and could lift it up, so it's not a flawless choice. Okay, Claw of Darkness was used. That means Absol is going to limp along at 30 HP left. Jamming Tower would actually have knocked it out here, but we don't have a Jamming Tower. Instead, we are just going to choose a boss to discard from the hand, so Boolin will not have access to boss this turn. Well, unless they draw another one. That Absol has been slammed. Okay, draw for turn. Rowan is still in a risky position here because almost anything will knock out that Mew EX. You really don't want to be in a position where Mew EX is getting knocked out, because now you are down 4 prizes, and Gardevoir is no stranger to picking up from bad game states, and I'm sure Rowan is not himself either. The problem is that this is just a really difficult deck to recover against because the HP counts are so high. Okay, what are we seeing here? Oh, no, so there was 10 from Poison, so there's 20 remaining. Okay, we're going to get a retreat into Kangaskhan using Latias. Kangaskhan is going to Aaron draw for 2. I don't see what Boolin got. It's an Evil Talon, a boss. Never mind that Claw of Darkness. That was a the genome hacking into Claw of Darkness. Mew is it's a Pokemon with the ability Restart, which can draw you cards if you have less than 3, or the attack genome hacking, which will copy one of your opponent's attacks for 3 colorless energy. So you could use, you know, no matter what energy cost it takes, you could just use genome hacking and use it as long as your opponent has it in the active spot. Okay, we're gonna get a Pecharunt to switch Absol back in, and it's still poisoned. Mist Energy does not prevent the poison, but that does mean we're going to see a Claw of Darkness. It'd be really strange if we didn't. And Boolin does have access to Monkey Dory, so Boolin could at least move 30 off of the Absol onto something, which is now 30 more that the Monkey Dory on the opposing side can't just magically heal, because Gardevoir does damage itself. So if you want to stack up damage onto a Gardevoir's board state, you need to make sure you are dealing damage effectively to... Ooh, okay, we're going to boss up the Gardevoir. Interesting choice. That means the Claw of Darkness is going to knock out this Gardevoir. And... okay, we're going to move 30 off from the Absol onto this Gardevoir so that they cannot... And you might think, why don't they put this onto the Ralts? They put it onto the other Gardevoir so that it does not fuel the Monkey Dory, because Monkey Dory now does not have another Gardevoir, right? Rowan is going to need to use a Rare Candy and a Gardevoir again in order to have access to self-damage to spam the 3 Monkey Dories. So that is a play from Boolin in the hopes that Rowan cannot get that Rare Candy and Gardevoir combo, even though we saw the Call Sign, which did search out a second Gardevoir. So since no Iono was played, we can expect that Rowan at least has the Gardevoir. The choice to put the damage on the active one means it will not be available for Monkey Dory. Yeah. Okay, there's the Claw of Darkness. Boolin is going to check the hand. Gardevoir is going to go in the discard, and the Claw of Darkness can choose to discard a Rare Candy or a Gardevoir. So 2 Gardevoir in the discard would be pretty scary, because now you need a Night Stretcher or a Super Rod and an Ultra Ball in order to get the Gardevoir, which is before... Okay, Iono's going to the discard. Boolin seems to be more concerned about being shuffled to a low hand size, which is a sensible complaint, because this deck does not have a ton of draw power. It's got Kangaskhan, which is incredible, but it only has Kangaskhan. And you can only use Kangaskhan once per turn, so you can't just get 3 of them out and just draw a hand of like 80 cards. One of the cool twerks here is that if Boolin cannot get another attacker going, Cornerstone Ogerpon will be able to prevent any damage from almost everything except for Mew EX. Mew EX will be able to copy its attack, which Cornerstone's attack hits through effects, so it would hit through its own ability. So Mew, despite having an ability, would be able to damage Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. But other than that, it means the Monkey Dories can't do anything. It means, except confuse you, it means the a Ralts evolved into Gardevoir can't do anything. But for the most part, I think what you would rather be doing here is charging up Pecharunt to take that last KO. And it looks like there is a Prism Energy and a Darkness Energy on the Pecharunt EX, which means it will be able to take that last KO. Bulin is very close to a checkmate scenario. Rowan is going to need to do incredible work this turn to take 2 3-price knockouts or different. Artisan is going to be played. Artisan is going to search that very thin deck. It's maybe 10 cards left in deck. If you're a Gardevoir player, you do want to see that because that means your Super Rods are more likely to get you what you actually want. Which, if you need to get a Gardevoir out of the discard pile, is an option. Although, we discarded the Iono off of the Claws Darkness here, so everyone's a little bit more concerned about having access to cards that let them draw and do things. Okay, and Iono was just played. No, that was the discard. Is that a... That's Serrano. Serrano's being played. Nope, I lied. That's Arvin. For a Rare Candy and an Air Balloon. Both good choices. There's a Night Stretcher for the Gardevoir. Okay, and we have the Candy Gardevoir combo. That means knocking out that Gardevoir last turn did not do enough to win the game. Monkey Dory is being placed in the active because Bulin has 2 prizes left. If Bulin knocks out anything with more than 1 prize, the game is over. So a Monkey Dory is most likely going to be left in the active at the end of this turn, which is good news for Bulin because, which is good news for Rowan because Monkey Dory has enough right now to deal damage sufficient to, oh, I lied. That was a lie. Me when I lied. It turns out Rowan is going to go for a line of play here where Claw of Darkness deals 200 damage, coupled with a, oh, this is interesting. This is not the typical order of operations. Typically, when you do your order of operations, you Monkey Dory, then get your opponent to promote what they're going to promote, then you promote what you want to promote. Instead, it looks like what Rowan has gone for is to manually retreat, and then is going to use Counter Catcher, and is going to copy Kangaskhan's attack. That's okay. That's 1 coin flip. If this is another heads, if this is another heads, that's the 3 prizes that Rowan needs to win the game. Oh my god, Rowan won the game off of the double coin flip Kangaskhan. That was a 25% chance of happening. Okay, let me go back here. So what Rowan did was use Monkey Dory to take the remaining, like, you should move damage counters to move the remaining damage off of the Absol, knock out the Absol, take 3 prizes, and then whatever that got promoted, Counter Catcher, because Rowan's down, grab Kangaskhan, and Muse, the only out Rowan had to win that entire set was to use Genome Hacking. Copy Mega's Kangaskhan's Rapid Fire combo, which deals 200 damage plus 50 more for each coin flip, and you only get to flip until you hit a single tails. So that was a 50% coin flip of the first heads, and then a 50% after that, and cumulatively that's 25% chance for that to happen. Rowan found the 1 single remaining out, and Bulin is just shaking his head like, I can't believe this, 25% chance. The flips were not in your favor, Bulin. It's not your fault. It is not your fault at all. That was just unfortunate. Dude, look at this. So they're doing the replays of some of these early turns, and that was the first knock out of the Frillish. Frillish did not end up doing a ton of work in this match. I thought maybe Frillish would be out for a little bit longer or get a little bit more Oceanic Gloom. Nope, just the early game. And instead, Rowan clears the field in an almost chess-like manner. Didn't really even need that second Gardevoir because that Mew was charged up anyway. The only thing Gardevoir could really do for you is put some damage down for Monkey Dory. That's great, and it was off screen too. That was unfortunate. I was like, is it heads? Is it heads? And then it was heads. Look at that face. I would be making that face too, man. That is absolutely a world class play. That is the Roman difference. The Rowan difference. Excuse me. All right, we have 2 chatters today. Hey, Justin is back in the stream. Hello, Justin. How are you doing? I'm gonna send a little heart reaction. I'm just send a little emoji in the chat. Now, for those of you who are just joining our stream, we have a couple of new faces today. For those of you who are just joining our stream, all you have to do is hit !join call. Join call will give you a link to the Discord server in which, if you would like to join the stream as a co-caster, all you have to do is pop in the VC. I'll move you into the live channel, and we can get bits. We can talk. We can co-cast and stream without you having to set up a stream. So if you are interested in becoming a caster someday, this is a great way to get experience. If you are interested in commentating a tournament just for the fun of it, which I do understand completely, it is quite fun, you will be able to get some experience. Now, Bulin is taking a look at the deck again, doing some price checking. Very few problematic cards prized. It is, for the most part, just some supporters, Lively Stadium, and Prism Energy. And Evoltol is obviously something you'd like to have access to. Gardevoir decks, generally speaking, are very vulnerable to these retreat locking decks, these strategies like Evoltol's Clutch. But I don't think in this scenario Rowan is too concerned. If you were to just spam Clutch forever, Monkey Dory is going to move that damage back onto you. And if you were to spam Clutch forever onto something and somehow prevent Monkey Dory from doing so, then they could just keep using Frillish and just prevent you from setting up while they get set up. So Rowan is not concerned about being slower here. They found a way to absolutely clear out this game in like 2 turns, or take 6 prizes in 1 turn off of the Monkey Dory play. So it is not unfeasible to do this. If I were Boolin, I'd be thinking, gosh, I wish I'd been able to, penny that Absol up and prevent that. But then you would have had a retreat attacker. Other than maybe the Petra, which is a bit of a riskier play. So checking the deck right now off of the Precious Trolley. You gotta love the turn 1 Precious Trolley off of the Arven. It's just such a classic play. And the only thing that's of note here is that Rowan is not at risk of being donked, because the Ralts that's in the active is accompanied by a Screamtail on the bench. So there's no chance of some kind of crazy clutch weakness knockout play. It's not happening. Instead, we are going to get a full game, no donking. And we're getting a light shuffle. Shuffle. If you are on stream and would like to learn how to shuffle, let me know, and I will be happy to give you a quick instruction. But generally speaking, I think most of the folks in the stream know how to shuffle. It's just there's been a few folks over the years who have told me they don't know how to play, and then I've taught them how to shuffle, and now they know how to shuffle. It's just that simple. I'm gonna sneeze, so I'm gonna. Excuse me. I'm not gonna sneeze on camera. I don't believe you wanted to see that. If you did, I'd say so in chat, but I'm gonna raise an eyebrow at you and go, "What are you thinking?" It looks like, Justin, you are heading to a challenge. I believe you mentioned that yesterday, but that said, I hope you have a good time. I hope you win your challenge, and I hope that the deck you bring is excellent. But it will be, because you brought it. Okay, back on screen, it looks like we have had a Turbo Energy play, so an Absol has charged up another Absol. I have to say, versus Gardevoir, being able to just use 2 Mega Absols is quite silly. 280 HP on a basic is already very, very high. Before Bravery Charm, that's already very, very high. Also getting access to weakness so that your Claw of Darkness can deal a knockout on whatever your opponent brings forward is extremely strong. Terminal Period is a extremely strong attack in this meta. I mean, the Absol is just such a great Gardevoir counter. And as we saw last game, Rowan didn't need to worry about it. Even with Secret Procs prized. This game, Secret Procs is not prized, so it is being played to search for an energy, looks like Liz Clefairy, I could be wrong, and a Iono. That can't be a Liz Clefairy, that's not right. Is that a Mew? It's some kind of EX. I don't have good eyes on it. I think it's Clefairy. For my money, I'm gonna call it Clefairy. I could go look at the big stream and find that out. Okay. According to the big stream, it is it's definitely Clefairy. I've actually figured out this time, because last time, folks might remember from yesterday, I was totally unable to see anything going on the screen. It was just the slowest FPS possible, and I didn't have a good way to view it. This time, I've gotten smarter than the average bear, and I now have access to a bigger stream without interfering with the resolution of this stream. So I kind of cooked a little bit while you weren't looking, figured out how to do streaming. You're not flawless. I mean, you still get this weird little background thing I got going on. I am behind like a beige backdrop, and I could not find my green screen, so I've just sort of improvised, adapted, and overcome. So you're gonna get a little bit of like this little, I don't know, flickering effect you can see. I think it's not a problem. It doesn't interfere too much with the gameplay, which is what you're actually here for, and some interesting commentary. I hope. I really can't, guarantee that it's interesting commentary, but I'm gonna do my best. Secret Box is going to look at this combo play. There's just like 7 cards slammed down on top of each other. Let's break it down very quickly. A Gardevoir has been evolved. So what happened here is a Secret Box searched out an Energy, Clefairy, and Iono. In exchange, what the heck is that? An Ultra Ball was played for the Gardevoir, followed by a Rare Candy, followed by a Lily's Determination. Okay, that's what it was. Oh no, the Secret Box discarded the Grass, Iono, or the Psychic, the Iono, and the Lily's Clefairy. That makes way more sense. I was just like, why would you search out a Pokemon? Silly me. Okay, a Team Evo has been attached onto this Screamtail, probably because it was something you don't want to get again. So when you use Lily, it's going to shuffle back into the deck. Instead, if you attach it and it gets discarded, then you're good. And, you know, Rowan may want to use it this turn. I highly doubt it. I would rather be attacking right now if I were Rowan. This is a deck that you don't want to be stuck in the position where you have to flip 2 heads on a Kangaskhan in order to win. So instead, we're going to see an Artisan for a Monkey Dory, and most likely an aggressive turn here. I mean, that's what I would do. Rowan is a very skilled player, and, you know, I can't pretend I'm sitting inside his brain directly. But from my experience with Gardevoir, I would be playing an aggressive turn here. And from my experience with Mega Kangaskhan Absol, which, if you know from yesterday, I am a very big fan of this deck. I've been shouting from the rooftops about Mega Kangaskhan since the pre-release, since a little bit before then. And I also made sure to pick up an Absol at that same pre-release. So I've got 2 Kangaskhan and Absol in my binder because I knew those 2 cards would be good. I didn't realize they synergized quite this beautifully. Unfortunately, for Bulin, not getting to show it on stream because Rowan is doing very, very well. But that was a close game. It literally came down to a coin flip. It had not been that coin flip, then Bulin would have most likely just used Petra and won the game. I mean, Bulin just needed a boss to do that, or some other option. I'm not saying like an Iron Bundle, but maybe like some kind of Monkey Dory play. Maybe, but I would expect Petra and then a boss play. Okay, we're going to retreat into the Lil guy. Maybe we're going to see a bench damage placement onto the benched Absol. If you have 2 Absol with a little bit of damage counters on it, that's going to make it harder to penny up both of your at-risk targets. And also, Scream Tailing active means it's a 1 prizer rather than a bulky 2 prizer that you don't want to lose. Okay, that is the cards off the restart from the Mew. We're going to get Psychic Embrace for 20, and we're going to Monkey Dory to the benched Absol. Okay, so we're going for the play where we make that Absol as difficult to use as possible. A Curlia goes down, hand getting shuffled. It looks like what was used was the Evo TM rather than the Roaring Scream attack. Interesting choice. I guess there's just not enough energy in the discard. I would have expected there to be more in the discard, but nope. Rowan instead going to secure the board state rather than even do something like Slap for 30, because you just Monkey Dory for that. The other thing too is you don't want to give too much to the Absol player, because Absol could use Terminal Period off of a couple Monkey Dories. So there's only 1 Monkey Dory on Bulin's side of the field, so it's unlikely, and frankly, Claw of Darkness will knock out everything anyway, so you don't super need this. But Terminal Period is an option for a situation, maybe like a Blood Moon's Lunar or something. Not that I think Rowan is playing that. It looks like Gardevoir is going to get knocked out here, which makes that Evo TM play a good one, because Evo TM is going to be able to replace that Gardevoir without the rare candy. So that may have been a strategic choice. Okay, here we go. A Professor's Research somehow got under the Curlia. That's very silly. Very, very silly. Hopefully it's not a penalty. That you don't really want to see that be a penalty in this circumstance. But it has been added to the discard. Instead, a promotion of the Screamtail. That's interesting. Okay, Nest Ball going to come down. There's not going to be an Artisan chosen. Instead, going to go directly into the Pheasantipony and then do a little quick deck search, figure out what they need. Probably Rowan wants an Ultra Ball or a Gardevoir here. Just either of those 2 directly. So this is a very important flip the script. Most likely the order of operations is going to be Mew, then flip the script, given Rowan's low hand size and the desperation necessary to find both of those cards. So if the hand has anything you can thin out right now so that you can use Restart more, you do it. Okay, gonna get 1 off the Restart. It's another Psychic Energy. That's unfortunate. Flip the script for 1, 2, 3. No, none of those are Gardevoir, but the Iono is an option, so we could see a Counter Catcher Iono play this turn or something else. Rowan thinking very hard about whether to Counter Catcher or not prior to this Iono. The Iono is your only out right now to the very, very necessary Gardevoir in order to get some damage around or start doing things. Otherwise, you're maybe hoping for a Mind Bend. It's very unfortunate there was no Ultra Ball there. And it's very unfortunate you have to shuffle those energy back to the bottom of your deck because you want them in your discard. You don't want them there. You would rather have that Professor Research that was stuck on the bottom of the Curlia in your hand. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I know some folks talk a lot about maybe palming or less than ethical behaviors. Rowan is not one of those players, and so that is not what was happening there. And we're making sure that's not what's happening there by calling out the mistaken attachment of a supporter, which is not what you're trying to do in any sense of the word. Taking a look at our hand size here, there is a Ultra Ball. What are we discarding? Okay, Diva TM and a Psychic Energy. The Psychic Energy you definitely want in the discard anyway, so that's a excellent gain for the Gardevoir you need. So it's good you got it off the Gardevoir, otherwise you're sitting there going, I need to flip coins on an on a Kangaskhan again, don't want to do that. But that could have been prevented maybe with a... I mean, that was already a 25% chance of... That was very low of happening, but maybe a Bravery Charm on the Kangaskhan could have prevented that. There's really nothing else you could have done to prevent that, because that was just lucky. You can't really do anything when you're lucky. Okay, a Gardevoir has come down. 2 Psychic Energy are available. Okay, we're going to retreat, put 1 more down, and promote Mew. Mew is going to use Genome Hacking, probably copy Claw of Darkness, considering there's a Mist Energy on the Absol. And that's the thing, too, is you have to put that Mist Energy on the Absol now because of Genome Hacking. So, otherwise, this would be a whole lot easier for Rowan to just go, Eternal Period done. Okay, 30 damage is going to be moved directly onto the active. And another 30 damage is going to be moved. Ooh, we're just gonna shoot. Oh yeah, there's no other Darkness Energy attached. We're gonna go straight into the Claw of Darkness, discarding either an Iono, a TM Energize, a Dark Energy, or a Bravery Charm. I would probably go for the Iono here. You just don't want your opponent to have options, but I can see another choice too. Okay, the choice to discard the Dark Energy means it's going to prevent additional attachments. So that means they have to use the Iono. Maybe Rowan has a plan in mind to keep Boolin's hand low, and also refresh Rowan's own. So that's not the worst reason to not discard the Iono. You might think that was, and just as I thought, you may think that's like the best way to keep your opponent unable to do things, but it turns out Rowan is thinking more about the energy attachments, because if Boolin's Pokemon don't have attachments on them and you have to burn a TM Turbo Energize for a turn, or you just keep manually attaching them, then you're never going to have a retreat attacker, and the Genome Hacking is going to get better use out of your Pokemon than you will. So this is probably the best strategy Rowan could come up with for this admittedly very difficult deck to beat. Okay, we're going to get a first retreat into the Latias for Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan Aaron running for 2. For Lily's Determination, and it looks like a Psychic Pokemon, maybe a Monkey Dory. Okay, Team Turbo Energize on a Latias. That's interesting because Latias's attack cannot knock itself out, so it could go in the active without being afraid, or at least too afraid of the Mew EX, because they would need to move damage from the Mew EX or from the Roaring Scream using Monkey Dory in order to knock out that Latias using the Mew. Or actually, I don't really like that because they have access to doing that, and you could have maybe promoted the Pecharunt or the Monkey Dory, because the Monkey Dory on Boolin's side has no attachment, so it's not like a, it's not like a loss. I'm wondering why the TM Turbo Energize was attached to Latias. That to me seems to be, maybe you're thinning the deck for Lilies. I mean, that could just be it, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to use TM Turbo Energize this turn. But I mean, this is how deep the thinking is that wherever you put this TM that you might even just be thinning and throwing away and expecting to get discarded, maybe you actually do want to use that attack this turn. Maybe you want to keep fueling your attackers. Okay, and E-Switch is coming down. This is exciting. E-Switch comes down. It's going to move an energy attachment from one to another. Going to put it on the Pecharunt. That's interesting, instead of keeping it on that Absol. Okay, Boolin is thinking about what to do with this Pecharunt as an attacker and is contemplating a Bravery Charm. Goes for it. Bravery Charm is going to boost it from 190 HP to 250. Gives it a little bit more sustain. And Absol is back in the active again, and it is just so damaged. Just look at that. Just look at that. Oh, the other thing about Rowan discarding the Darkness Energy means no Monkey Dory. You can't just raw attach to Monkey Dory. Okay. And Claw of Darkness is going to discard Mew EX, and also a card from Rowan's hand. There's a Night Stretcher. It looks like a supporter of some kind, and an Air Balloon. So the Air Balloon's not getting discarded. It's either going to be the Night Stretcher or that supporter, which I can't tell if that's Lily's or not. I'm looking at the big screen too. That could be an Arven? I don't think it is. It's an Arven, okay. Night Stretcher gets discarded, so Mew EX was not going to go from the discard right back to the hand. Instead, there's going to, Mew EX is just sitting in Boolin's side of the field. Yeah, move that down. We're not gonna have a repeat of the Abon incident. Okay, here we go. Gardevoir's in the active, Mew is in the discard, Night Stretcher's in the discard, so Mew is extra in the discard. You're going to need some kind of Super Rod or another Night Stretcher to recover from that. But it does also replace all those Psychic Energies back in the discard, giving Gardevoir some good targets. Pheasantipity is going to draw 3. Rowan's hand is very slim. It's just 2 Arven and an Air Balloon, so you're going to want something. Darkness Energy, Earthen Vessel, Psychic Energy. Okay, you can Vessel away the Psychic Energy, or think a little bit. I mean, you could get an access to an attacker through Arden, so this is a good way to search the deck, get 2 energies out, but also see what attacker you might want to grab. You know, make sure it's not prized or anything. Because when you're doing your prize check at the beginning of the game, that's the beginning of the game. You're gonna have to remember the entire time. If you don't, and you forget what you actually prized, then there was no point in prize checking whatsoever. Okay, 2 Psychic directly into the hand, 1 Psychic into the discard. That fuels another potential Screamtail turn. Screamtail could very easily take a KO on the Absol right now, or otherwise get maybe the Petron into 2 KO range. Although, if you're Rowan, you're trying to take 2 3-prize or knockouts. Your most efficient option is 2 3-prize or knockouts. So that's why Petron is charged up right now from Bulin, because that is going to throw off that 2 3-prize matchup. I mean, Rowan wants to take 2 knockouts as quickly as possible, and those 2 knockouts to be healthy, so. Ooh. What? What are you doing? Bulin has 2 prizes remaining. Hello? Hello? Okay, a Dark Attachment on Monkey Dory. That's the manual attachment for the turn, so there is a maximum of 2 Monkey Dories available. 60 damage is going to go onto the Absol, which is going to knock it out. Okay, that's pretty good, because now Rowan can take the remaining 3 prizes somehow. Maybe get a something off the prize cards. The Super Rod off the prize cards. Okay, Super Rod has been obtained off the prize cards along with a Countercatcher and a Jellicent. Countercatcher is live, that's good. And the Jellicent does nothing here, but the Super Rod could get the Mew EX back. Mew EX could go for a Kangaskhan knockout. Or you could actually go for a knockout on the other Absol. No, you couldn't. You just did all your 60 damage to the active Absol instead. So Mew EX to knock out Kangaskhan is your only like immediate 3-prize claim, but you could knock out this Pecharunt. That would remove the attacker. That would buy you another turn, and with another turn, you take your last prize. Okay, Artisan is being played. You know, Rowan didn't just pick up the deck to just search it. There's 4 minutes left in the round, so Rowan is really just playing to make sure this isn't a tie. If Rowan wins this game, then that's the set. That's 2-0. If Rowan does not win this game, then the record turns to 9-1-2 and 9-0-3 for Bulin, and all that early game success, all that last minute coin flipping was for naught. Okay, going for a Frillish, interesting choice. Irritated Outburst is enough to knock out this Gardevoir right now, and Gardevoir is your big problem here because Gardevoir is the only 2-prize attacker available to take a knockout on. Now, granted, you could do some kind of shenanigans with Monkey Dory and the Screamtail, which is maybe the reason why you not use a Screamtail here, because you could Monkey Dory Screamtail and then take a knockout if you had enough energy attached, which Petron is the only thing with energy attached. The E-Switch came down early. Does Bulin have anything that can come back and boss and KO? It's going to depend on how Rowan handles this turn. If Rowan has a way to take enough damage, if enough ways to buy a turn, that's something, but I don't know if Frillish is enough. Frillish will at least slow things down. No E-Switch this turn, but Bulin has an opportunity here to just boss, attach, and game. Okay. Oceanic Gloom. Items are on lockdown, so no Ultra Ball, no Nest Ball. You will have access to Artisan right now. Here's a draw for turn. You still have the Latias combo. There's a Penny. There's a counter gain. You can use those. There's a Ursaluna. Ursaluna is not really able to attack yet. It's got a very hefty cost that's decreased 1 per prize taken. Rowan's taken 3 prizes. That's not enough to use Blood Moon Ursaluna without some kind of Crispin maneuver. Crispin, you mean even with, okay, you've got counter gain, so you could use a single attachment counter gain to do it. No, you can't even counter gain right now because Bulin is ahead. Aaron for 2. I see an Arvin. I don't see the second draw. Oh, there's a boss. There's a boss. Okay. This is serious. Do you have a way to get energy and boss at the same time? I don't see it. You can't counter game because it's, even if you did, Petron's attack costs 2 darkness. You need a darkness energy. I don't see a path to darkness energy and boss at the same time. And you can't counter catcher. You can Iono. Can't really use the bear. Even if you could knock out Pheasantipity, even if you had your pick your targets, you can't really can't really secure this one. And if you use Iono, you're Ionoing to 2. You're not getting a better turn here. Come on, Boolin, you gotta find a strategy. You gotta find one. Okay, drop a gift sensitivity to draw 3. 1, 2. Oh, Night Stretcher! Oh, items are locked. Items are locked. You can't use the Night Stretcher. Going for a Lively Stadium to boost the HP. Good choice considering you don't want to get another situation. Iono, okay. Iono is going to shuffle both players and Boolin will take 2. Rowan will take 3. Boolin's got 1 minute and 25 seconds to pull out a tie from nowhere. Can Boolin get a basic Dark Energy off the top 2 cards? No. It's a Lily's Determination and a Counter Catcher, neither of which will do anything right now. Okay, here's what you do. You pass the turn. Because if you Counter Catcher right now, or you can't Counter Catcher right now, if you pass the turn and something gets knocked out, because you can't take a knockout right now. If you pass the turn and something gets knocked out, you're going to be able to use that Counter Catcher. So you could leave something like Latias in the active, really just bait it out, or you leave Kangaskhan in the active apparently. I'm not sure if I like that. I mean, I guess you don't want to poison and leave a vulnerable Absol active, but I don't like that either. Okay, Rowan is taking the turn. Vessel looks like it's going to discard a... Is that a Monkey Dory? I think I see a Monkey Dory. So before the Monkey Dory goes down, searching the deck. 35 seconds, come on. Assuming Rowan is turn 0 of time, Boolin is only going to have 1 turn to get out of this. And Lily's Determination will search up to 6 cards, which could get you the last Dark Energy you need. But if Rowan doesn't leave enough vulnerable options for Boolin to get off of a Monkey Dory KO or something else, then it will just be a tie for the game, and Rowan will win. And I think Rowan knows this because Rowan is maybe counting those last seconds on the clock. Counter Catcher, Pecharunt. Come on, do something. That's the other reason, too, to use Frillish, is that Frillish slows the game down, and when you're in the last couple, seconds of turn. Okay, there's overtime. Clock has started. It's 10 minutes of overtime. What are you doing? Okay. Frillish is gonna self-damage a little bit. That does create an opportunity to maybe use a attachment on Monkey Dory. I mean, but then you can't... Okay, you could attach to Monkey Dory and E-switch, but you can't do that if Oceanic Gloom comes into play. Checking the discard. Seeing what's in there. This is the last thing that Rowan will get to do. Okay, get a Monkey Dory, that's 60 damage off. Slam it down on a Pecharunt. And I think we're going to see an Oceanic Gloom. Oh, Pecharunt has more HP than I thought. Excuse me. Apparently its stream says it's 270. I thought it was a 190. Maybe it's a 220. Okay, according to chat, the stream looks a little bit slideshowy. That's unfortunate. It's not what you aspire to do when you start streaming, but sometimes it happens. If this was old time rules, Boolin could really, make a 2-turn combo here, but Boolin has 1 turn to take 2 prizes. Can it be done? Thinking very carefully about what to do here. Is that a Prism Energy? Okay, Pecharunt has a Prism Energy on it. Pecharunt can attack. How do you gust this turn? Aaron running? Is that it? No, it's a Misenergy to Pokemon. Handshake. Rowan takes the set. Boolin just needed 1 more turn and did not have time for it. Oh, yeah, Rowan is making that face for a very good reason. It came down to the Kangaskhan coin flips, and lo and behold, you don't need to be playing the Kangaskhan to have to deal with the Kangaskhan coin flips. Simple as that. Alright, Boolin, you played incredibly well. It's just unfortunate Gardevoir has so many last-minute tips and tricks to sneak its way through any problem. With that, Swiss round 11 closes. The players are 1 step closer to top cut, particularly Rowan. Alright, we're going to see a replay. While the replay is going on, I will be popping into Twitter to invite more people to co-cast on the stream. Remember, if you are watching and you want to be a co-caster, all you have to do, it'll show you a Discord server. In the Discord server, you'll be able to see some voice chats. If you are in the Discord server and are in those voice chats, you will be able to join, and I will put you directly on stream. You will be able to get some incredible casting experience if you've never been able to do it before, and you won't have to get set up with stream. Alright, I'm gonna make my face invisible very quickly, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Hello, we have been joined by Big D912. Hello, Big D. It's good to see you again. As you can see, we've slightly improved the stream from yesterday without having to buy a new streaming setup. Always nice. And on stream, we're taking a look right now at the meta share for day 2. Gardevoir EX without Jellicent seems to have performed very well. Converted 40 decks. Meanwhile, Mega King's Gun Absol has converted 29 decks, so that's 7% of the meta share. So that's the range we're looking at today. No clear day 2 winner, although to my surprise, Dragapult EX has converted extremely well. I did not think that was the case after the very small day 1 showing. There are 412 masters in day 2, and there are 412 different decks, so it looks like this is 50% of the meta share on screen, and the other 50% of the meta share is split between 412 other options. Probably not that many, but, you know, there could be a lot of different archetypes. I know Emma Hagen is playing Terrabox Eevee. That is the deck that she's been promoting for quite some time. I know she made day 2, and frankly, I think she's got a top cut. She's in the top 16 right now. So it's quite a list. Solrock and Lunatone engines seem to perform decently well. Goldango and Surlage both converted, although Surlage had the highest meta share and did not convert the same ratio. Players to watch: Abon Ahmed, Alex Shermansky, and Christian Labella. This is correct. All 3 of them are extremely skilled players. Alex Shermansky was at the top of the standings in Swiss for a while. Let's see if he's still there. Abon is famous for the Monkey Dory event. You know the one. The one where a Monkey Dory was mysteriously misplaced, causing the end of the finals to be shortened. And Christian Labella is a name you're probably used to seeing in the finals. You can see that Christian is a member of both Team Dead Draw Gaming and Cotter Tap, both of which are very well-known organizations. Okay, we're gonna get this Simi Seer to shake us up into, it looks like Azul and Chip casting, and Azul is in a suit. This is the Azul suit reveal. I can't believe it. Nice gray, nice choice. And meanwhile, Chip in his classic blue and pink outfit, and it looks like he's got a Mimikyu pin on. So look at the two of them; they're having a good time, bringing the uncommon energy. I saw someone on Twitter comment they look like father and son, which is quite silly. I do know Chip has a family, so he is in fact a father. He's just not Azul's father. Meanwhile, Azul is a pro streamer. You're used to seeing him be the restreamer more often than not. He is one of the top restreamers and top players in the community. So he's ascended to caster with this regionals, and we are very proud and thrilled for him to do that. The two of them also run their podcast, Uncommon Energy, which I've enjoyed. I had a couple of my tweets featured there once, but for the most part, I don't have a ton of overlap with what they do. Okay, here's Rowan. They're doing a replay of Rowan. He is looking at this is the Kangaskhan flip, and just the lift off the seat pop up. There we go. Look at him. He's thrilled. Otherwise, if that had not happened, Boolin would have won. Oh, this is the Ono family. They were casting the pre-show yesterday. It was very cute. All right, I'm gonna go check chat. Let's see what we have going on today. Okay, it looks like the stream health is not particularly healthy right now. Okay, it looks like YouTube recommends a stream bit rate of 70 kbps, so I'm gonna see if that will fix it. Okay, we have just changed the bitrate to 750 bps, and that should make the stream a little bit more compatible with YouTube. No guarantees, although I sure freaking hope so.